Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's technical session. Let's wait for 10 more minutes for people to join. And I also please like everyone to please share the link with their colleague, with their friends that are also going to learn from this session. Thank you. For people that are just joining, we are waiting for more people to join. We will kick start exactly at 11:10. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. For people that are just joining, we are waiting for more people to join. So you can please help us to share the link with your friends, with your peers, with your colleagues. We will kickstart the meeting at 11:10. Thank you. Yes, good morning once again. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's technical meeting. My name is Additional Munirat, and I'm your moderator for today. This technical meeting is organized by NAPE YP, and I'm happy to have everyone here. And I want to before we dive into today's technical meeting, I would like to ask everybody, how are you? How are you doing? How was your week? Please, I would like everybody to drop their responses in the chat box. How are you? How was your week? I'm expecting everybody's responses in the chat box, please. Thank you, Danielle. said you are fine. I'm glad you are fine. Anyone else? Thank you, testimony. Thank you, testimony. Okay, thank you, everyone. And okay, thank you, Amara. So today's topic is nitty-gritty of 4D time-lapse. And like I said, I'll be your moderator for today. And our speaker for today is Mr. Ibrahim. He is a earth scientist consultant. And before we dive in, this is the agenda. We start by giving the opening remark, and then we're going to move straight into the safety moment, and then we're going to dive into the webinar presentation, Q&A, quiz, vote of thanks, and announcement and closing remark. This is the agenda for today. So I would like by giving the safety brief first. Firstly, regarding the recording and privacy, I would like us to know that the webinar is being recorded, and please don't share any personal or sensitive information in the chat. And for the microphone and noise, all participants are muted upon entry, so please keep muted unless you are requested to speak. And even after speaking or after dropping your comments, make sure you mute back. And for chat and etiquette, please use the chat function respectfully, and for relevant questions or comments, harassment or offensive languages or spam will not be tolerated and may result in removal from the session. So please, let's be respectful. And for the technical safety, please do not click on suspicious link shared in the chat. Only follow links that are shared by the host or the designated speakers. And for the environmental awareness, please be aware of your surroundings. Choose a quiet space for full concentration, and let others around you know you are in a session. If you are joining with a headphone, please keep your headphone volume at a moderate level to protect your hearing, and also make sure that the volume of your headset is at the moderate level so that you can still be able to know what is happening in your surroundings. So I would like to start by giving a brief overview of who our speaker is today. Mr. Ibrahim is a petroleum geoscientist with a track record across the upstream oil and gas sector, seamlessly blending deep technical expertise with emerging business acumen. He specializes in delivering high-value subsurface insights, reservoir characterization, and strategic consulting for the energy industry. Driven by a passion for continuous growth, Ibrahim is currently expanding his strategic leadership capabilities by pursuing an executive MBA at the Rome Business School. This complements his advanced academic foundation, which includes an MSc in Petroleum Geoscience from the University of Ibadan and a BSc in Geology and Mineral Science from Kwara State University. His diverse professional journey spans key roles at prestigious institutes, including the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, Abuja, Access Bank, Executive Leadership Training Program, ELTP, and Chevron, where he served as a graduate intern. Prior to his current role as a consulting geoscientist, he honed his technical and analytical skills as a geoscientist at DigiConnect Nigeria Limited. Beyond his technical and corporate achievements, Ibrahim is deeply committed to human capital development and knowledge sharing. He is the creator and host of educational channel Let's Talk Geoscience with Ibrahim, where he simplified complex geological concepts for a broader audience. He is equally passionate about mentoring the next generation of geoscientists, dedicating his time to guiding young professionals and students navigating their career in the energy sector. Please, let's give a virtual clap to our speaker today. But before we call him to speak, I would like the UAP chairman to please give the opening remark.
Thanks. Munira, can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay, Munira? Please confirm.
Yes, yes, we can hear you,
Yeah,
sir.
we can hear
Oh,
you.
great. Great. Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be here, especially discussing the topic around the nitty-gritty of 4D. As we all will find out, or we already know, that one of the most important part of doing surveillance for our reservoir management in terms of production is the 4D time lapse. And it's quite unique because you manage your reservoir, monitor your pressures, monitor your production, and even do a kind of mop up or try to see what you've bypassed in terms of oil to get more uh, opportunities by acquiring 4D time to life. So it's quite unique to have an opportunity to be among you to learn from what Mr. Ibrahim will share today. So please let's come with open mind. Let's learn together, and together we'll make Nigeria great again in terms of optimizing our production through one of these latest technologies that has been around, but at least revamped over and over again with the 4D time lapse. Let's have a great day and have a fruitful celebration. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ibrahim, please can I have the floor.
Good morning. Kindly confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Afolabi, for your words. Really grateful. So to get it started quickly, today we'll be talking about nitty-gritty of 4D seismic time lapse. I don't know if you can see my screen. Someone
Yes,
can
we can see your
just,
screen.
all right, great. So typically this session would not make you an SME. That's a subject matter expert in it truly. But what it will do is it will give you insights so that when you ever have the opportunity, which many of us, I believe, in the next few years will have the opportunity to work with it, because that's where the industry, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is tending towards right now. So what it will do is it will give you an idea of, okay, when they say this, you have an idea. Short story, when I started working deep water, you know, I didn't have any, I've heard of it, I've read of it, I knew the principles, I knew a bit of it, but I hadn't seen it. No company would ever let you see their data unless unless you have to work with it, even within the company, really, right? And the person that manages me just threw me into it and was like, study this, get this done, give me products. If perchance I was not abreast with it, I would have struggled a bit, right? But because I was opportune to know a few things about it before then, it was pretty much easier. And come to think of it, I see some of my bosses on the call and I'm wondering, I see Oga Jogun on the call, and that's awesome to know. Right. So typically this is the outline. Right, so we'll be talking a little bit about introduction, right? What is 4D seismic? Why 4D seismic? The application of 4D. We'll be talking about what we call baseline surveys and monitor surveys. We'll talk about different volumes and maps. We'll talk about the main concept, which is softening and hardening. We'll talk about what causes softening and hardening. We'll talk about the importance of production data to 4D. We'll take a case study, and this case study would incorporate our quiz session. Then we'll have our question and answer session, right? So typically what I expect to deliver and what I expect that we would gain would be, we'll be able to understand the difference between 2D, 3D, and 4D seismic. We'll understand the relevance and the application of 4D data to us. We'll understand what is meant by baseline and monitor surveys. We understand the concept of difference volumes and seismic and maps, of course. We understand the concepts of softening softening and hardening. We'll understand what causes softening and hardening. We'll understand the importance of production data to 4D. Then we'll just try to simulate and try to relate it to real life a bit. Right. So moving on, anybody would care to tell me what 4D is? Can anybody just attempt, just one person? Less Oga Jogumo and Oga Falabi. Anyone else? Anybody? No right or wrong answers ever, right? So yeah, that Julius, go ahead.
You can speak now, Julius. You're muted.
Okay,
Oh,
can't hear from
you
Julius.
can make use of the chat if you can't
Hello.
speak.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Hello.
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning,
Morning.
everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, from my own limited knowledge about the 4D seismic, 4D seismic is the replication of the 3D due to the fact that the production has been taken on that particular reservoir for a particular time. So now we are trying to want to maximize our productions. So due to the depletion or based on the production, which is the amplitude also change over time and develop. So we need to reshoot another seismic, 4D seismic, in order to maximize our production and optimize placement of our well.
Excellent, excellent, Julius. That's a
Hello.
great point, right? We can hear you. Excellent.
Hello.
Excellent. Kindly confirm you can still hear me so I can proceed.
We can hear you, but
Yeah,
I think
proceed,
another
sir.
person is waiting.
Because of time, so we'll just take one so we don't overshoot time. Right. So 2D seismic, right? They're just coarse grid lines, irregular lines, basically, right? And they're used pretty much, it's an earlier technology, right? But even these days, they are used when you want to have regional understanding of things, right? So if anyone has seen a 2D survey or 2D seismic, sometimes when you map it, you may realize that those earlier geologists, they missed the crest of the structure by a few feet or a few meters. That's because the resolution is not as sharp. The grids or the lines are irregularly arranged and they have a coarse spacing, which makes resolution poorer. Right. While 3D is typically finer grids, right? Regular spacing, and you can see in the X, Y, Z direction typically. So if anybody understands the Fleming's left-hand rule, X, Y, Z, going this way, you could see in those three dimensions. So imagine like a sliced bread, right? Those slices are the Z, right? That's like the depth Z on top of each other stacked. However, 4D is equally 3D seismic, but it is repeated across time. So XYZ plus the time component. So one is short at so time, another one is short at so time under the same condition, same design, same spacing. Everything has to mimic each other to actually get the actual information you are looking for, because you need to compare apple for apple, right? So the fourth component is time. So let's break it down further. So 4D seismic involves the acquisition and analysis of multiple 3D surveys over the same area at different times. The fourth dimension is time. That's what makes it 4D. So what it does is it allows for operators to observe dynamic changes with reservoir due to production as well as injection, right? Because you are taking fluid out of the reservoir, you're taking oil out of the reservoir. Things will change as far as that fluid presence in the reservoir. You're equally probably injecting water, depending on the developmental strategy, or injecting gas. You are inducing something which wasn't there into it, and you need to see how this behaves spatially in the reservoir, right? So this technology is crucial in asset development for optimizing production and enhancing reservoir surveillance and management. So it typically comes in at the asset development level, right? At the asset development level. So if you work in a company, there is a crucial fulcrum of the subsurface community they call the AD, asset development. They are the managers of the field, right? And they use this to do reservoir surveillance and management. So how it works is just the typical geophysical workflow. The data is acquired, they make a comparison of the surveys, they process and interpret the data, we analyze the data for things that we want to use it for, and we apply, basically. Right. So we could see these two seismic volumes. One was shot in 2016 as the legacy. The other one was shot in 2021. So we're diving into why 4D seismic now. What you observe, depending on how good your eyes are with seismic, right? Some people may say there is no change, right? But if you have trained eyes, anybody, if you see any change, you could just drop it on the chat box. Let's see if you see any change, right? Right. I see changes, but what you will observe is that if you look here at this point, at those bright reflectors, this was in 2016 before production started, right? But if you look at those same reflectors during production in 2021, what you will observe is there about this area, that reflector is kind of dim, right? That's because changes pertaining to fluid, pertaining to pressure have occurred, right? 4D does not mean an anticline will become a syncline. No, it has nothing to do with the geometry or configuration. We're talking about pressure changes. We're talking about fluid changes, right? Stress, that's what we are talking about, not the geometry. The geometry wouldn't change, but the acoustic impedance, the responses of those stratas and the fluid they contain, the responses that we would have is what we are interested in, right? So we're just driving the point home. These are two areas, sorry, same area, two different vintages taken at different times, one in 2016, one in 2021. We could see that is the same seismic, but something has changed, right? And that's what 4D does to us. We can compare, we can juxtapose and see what has happened over time, right? So to drive it home, why 4D seismic? Help us track production, right? We want to see where we've swept in the reservoir, where it's bypassed. We monitor fluid and saturation changes, right? You inject water, water will displace oil. You want to see where that water has moved to. You inject gas into the reservoir. You want to see where the gas has clouded within the reservoir. It helps us in tracking injection and reservoir strategy. Are you injecting so much water? What is that injection saying? Are you poorly managing the reservoir pertaining to injection? 4D would help you to demystify this. Typically, it's very expensive technology to have, but if any company can have this, it is very, very vital. It will help you a whole lot in reservoir surveillance and management. Overall, what it does is it helps in reservoir management and surveillance. You will be able to optimize a reservoir. You might think may be dead in terms of opportunities. With 4D, you will realize that opportunities to optimize and completely drain that reservoir may exist with 4D. So what will we achieve with 4D, right? Essentially, what 4D will do for us is we'll be able to identify bypassed oil. So we'll be able to pinpoint pockets of hydrocarbon that remain trapped between wells, right? Right? We'll be able to optimize infill drilling. Again, in the asset development, when it moves from exploration and is in the development phase, you want to improve recovery. You want to improve the value the company is getting with respect to barrels. You need to drill what we call infill wells. To one well cannot drain a large reservoir, for instance. So you need to introduce infill wells. 4D will help you to de-risk and help you to place your wells in actual places where hydrocarbon exists. It will entrust you to know that it costs hundreds of millions of dollars to drill a deep water well. It can cost you almost $20 million to drill an onshore well or $60 million to drill a shallow water well. So it's a very intensive, risk-intensive venture. So 4D would help us to de-risk and help us to be able to pinpoint. We have oil here, we have water here, we have a lot of gas here. You don't want to put a well there. You have water here. You don't want to put a well here. We have oil here. We want to put a well here. What's the volume? You can be able to get all these bit of puzzles. You can be able to solve it with 4D, right? It also helps to support field life extension. So typically, we have operators that we work with in the industry, in the place of NUPRC, as far as Nigeria is concerned, and they are representing the interest of the Nigerian people, right? They want to know, how are you managing this reservoir? Are you depleting it at a rate that is harmful to the reservoir? Are you properly draining it at all? Are you doing things that are not right with the reservoir? They want to know, right? So 4D would help you to be able to properly inform them, right? And by staying out of trouble, because you are giving them the accurate information. You don't want to go this month, tell them something, within the next 6 months, you're telling them something else. It doesn't speak well of the company, right? So this 4D would help you to reduce those type of back and forth with operators. Typically, we've talked a lot about the introductory slide, so let's dabble a little bit into the technicalities of it. We said that 4D is 3D with the time component as the fourth component, right? So the very first survey that is established, right, that we carry out, the very first survey, we call it the baseline. And it is what we reference the other surveys to. So the very first survey is called the baseline, right? So subsequent repeat surveys over that same area with similar acquisition designs, right, at different time intervals, maybe every 5 years, maybe every 10 years, as the developmental strategy may propose, are called monitor surveys. So you may have monitor 1, you may have monitor 2, you may have monitor 3, to monitor whatever the developmental strategy says it should stop at, right? But to be very sincere, it's very expensive. And, some of the KPIs of companies, in fact, the major KPI, maybe third, is cost, right? Every company wants to try and reduce what we call the capital expenditure as much as possible. They don't want to be spending too much, right? But again, depending on the developmental strategy, this will determine how many monitors would be acquired, basically, right? So again, we've said time, right? So there's something we call difference. Time A, time B, something has happened. We want to understand the difference, right? So you remember we said baseline survey, monitor survey. To actually get value, right, from that change, you need to carry out what we call a subtraction, right? So the baseline survey is subtracted from the monitor survey and you get a magnitude. That is called a difference volume or different seismic, or you can get different maps from it too, right? Now you see something here. We call it nil effect. If at time A, maybe at the baseline, there was a particular behavior, or let's say we see maybe we see oil, right, in a particular place, and that oil at the monitor survey hasn't been drained, right? The difference would show what we call a nil effect. It doesn't mean nothing is there. What it means is that you are as you were, right? It may be a bit confusing to a few people now, but just know that if nothing has changed as far as the reservoir is concerned with fluid changes, what you will see would be a nil effect, right? Like I mentioned, The structure wouldn't change, but what you would see responses to would be that pressure change and that fluid changes in the reservoir. So keep in mind different maps, different seismic. Right. The major concepts, right, that we'll be driving home today is what we call softening and hardening. Again, this may be a bit confusing, but I will do my best to make it as simple as possible. When we say softening, right, is associated with presence of gas. Don't quote me, but just to make it simple. And when we say hardening, we are referring to presence of water, right? Very basic, just to keep it basic for somebody who is just trying to understand. Other things can play out in a dynamic world, right? If you are looking at it in an office or you're trying to carry out an analysis, it can get really complex and your head will be paining you and you'll be getting gray hair as to what is happening, because as far as our job is concerned, there's always this data gap. You would never have enough data. But just to keep it simple, softening is associated with presence of gas and hardening is associated with the presence of water. Right. So what causes softening and hardening in the reservoir? Now, please listen to me attentively at this point for anybody who needs to know these principles. When you inject gas into the reservoir, what you are going to induce would be a softening effect. I repeat, when you have injected gas into the reservoir, what you are inducing is softening. If you deplete the reservoir pressure below the bubble point of the reservoir, bubble point means that you've depleted the reservoir pressure, and in the laboratory, they say the first bubble of gas liberates. But in practical sense, what it means is you will start producing excessive amount of gas. In fact, what you've done is you've converted that oil field into a gas producing one. So once you go below the bubble point in the reservoir, it can induce softening too. So gas injection and getting below bubble point can induce softening. Now, when you increase pressure or you overpressure, it can induce softening too. Because when you induce pressure, what you've done is when you increase pressure, what you've done is you've reduced effective stress, and that would lead you to softening, right? Equally, this is not really done in Nigeria, but if you are doing steam injection or whatever, it can also induce softening just for the books. But in practical realms, when you inject gas into the reservoir, you've induced softening. When you drop the reservoir pressure below bubble point, you would also can induce softening. If you overpressure the reservoir or you inject, thereby increasing pressure, what you've done is you've reduced effective stress and it can induce softening. Right. The second principle is hardening. When you inject water into the reservoir, because water is denser than oil, for instance, so it displaces water. So what it does is it induces what we call an hardening effect, right? When you lower pressure in the reservoir, just like you overpressured, induce softening, when you lower pressure or you deplete pressure, it increases effective stress in the reservoir and that leads to hardening too, right? When gas dissolves back into oil or in solution, right, it means the gas has entered back into the oil. It happens in the reservoir sometimes. You've induced hardening too, right? What you've done at that point is you've induced hardening, right? So there's something we call fluid substitution, right? And it happens, we see it happen in the reservoir when one fluid type replaces another fluid type. So take, for instance, you stop injecting into the reservoir for a while. What you've done is that you've given time for initially displaced fluid to come back. So if you stop injecting gas for a while, what you've done is you've given time, ample time for initially displaced fluid to return back to its original um, um, place. And what you've done is because you've stopped injecting gas, you've reduced pressure. This would induce hardening, right? So these are the dynamics it plays. And because it's ever dynamic, and that's why many of us are on jobs, right? It's a dynamic world. Things are changing. You are doing things to the reservoir, and these changes are occurring as you induce things that trigger these changes, right? And that's why we need 4D. Very important. Moving on. Right. So one thing I need us to know is that 4D doesn't stand on its own. As a matter of fact, it is not very useful without the presence of production data. Production data is gold. Production data is hard data, even compared to the responses from seismic. Production data is the key to unlocking 4D seismic. 4D seismic responses must obey production data. It must be carefully integrated with production data, and it must obey production data. So for it to work, it must sync with production. If they carry out some extraction on a 4D and it's not saying what production is saying, something is wrong, because the production is what you took out, is hard data. If you produce 100 barrels per day, that's telling you that's what the reservoir is giving you per day for 4 months. That's what it was giving you. That's the reality of the reservoir. So production data must be carefully integrated into 4D, and you must have production data. You can't do 4D if you don't have reliable production data. Right. So what production data do we essentially need? We need what we call the water and gas injection rates, maybe daily, monthly, yearly. You need the oil production rates. You need the produced GOR. You need the BS and W, or what we call water cut. What we need is the produced GOR. In some text or some place, you may see what we call RSI, solution GOR. That's different from produced GOR. RSI means the amount of dissolved gas in any oil. It's quite different for the GOR you produce when you are taking oil from the reservoir. Optionally, there are some engineering information you may need, like the drawdown information. Drawdown simply means the pressure differential between the well and the reservoir. So reservoir pressure in comparison to the static bottom hole pressure, and equally mechanical skin too. So sometimes pressure changes as a result of things impeding the perforation. It also increases pressure. So if this information are available, it might help you at some point in demystifying certain things around 4D. Right. So typically this will serve as our quiz. We have a case study. So no company would, sorry to say, no company would give you their 4D data and production data really, right? But I was able to prepare this for the purpose of learning, so that we can have a um feel of just how it feels like, right? This is very hypothetical, but I just want us to drive it home rather than just talking theory, right? So we have the field info. The field name is the YP field, is located in the Gulf of Guinea. It's a deep water field. We have 5 wells, 2 oil producers, 1 gas injector, 2 water injectors. The baseline was acquired in 95. The M1 was acquired in 2001. The M2 was acquired in 2006, and the M3 was acquired 2010. The data in terms of production that we have are the oil rates, the water cut, the GOR, and we have the injection rates. So to the field overview, the YP field commenced production in January 1995 with 2 initial wells. You might screenshot this so we can reference it, or you can reference it as we move on. The YP1 and YP2, yielding a combined initial production rate of 10,000 barrels of oil per day. To address the reservoir's weak aquifer support and to accelerate capital recovery, CAPEX, 3 additional wells were drilled in March the same year, 1995. These wells were specifically designated for gas and water injection. The developmental strategy employed 4D seismic monitoring across 4 temporal intervals: the baseline, the M1, the M2, and the M3, throughout the field's operational life, ending with divestment in 2010. The primary target, the G1000 reservoir, is the most prolific unit in the field with an estimated ultimate recovery of approximately 100 million barrels of oil. Right, so this is a field that was producing, hypothetically, is not real, was producing from 1995 to 2010, and we are told to analyze the G1000 reservoir, which remained the most prolific reservoir and had about 100 million barrels banked in that reservoir. So our first task is to analyze the production data, right? So let's look at the production data and let's look at our observation, right, regarding the trends that we see. So this is the next slide. So the first one here is the gas injection rate. This one is the production profile yearly, and this is the water injection rate. So can anybody tell me what he sees with respect to gas injection rate? So this is our quiz. Just any attempt, not necessarily, you don't have to be right. Just whatever you can spot out.
Okay, we have
So,
Isa Yusuf. Please
okay.
unmute and speak. Isa, can you hear us? Isa, can you hear us? Please, if you can speak, can you please use the chat, please?
It will be preferable if he actually speaks, really, so that
You can unmute
Okay, I can
yourself.
hear you. Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, from what I can observe from the gas injection, as they increase the gas injection, also our GOR also increased from those points.
valid, very valid. Yeah. Okay. Isa got that. He has an understanding of trends. Awesome. Right. So Isa got that one. So attribute it to Isa, please, Munirat. Right. So from
Noted.
gas injection, you can see that around 2001, gas injection started to spike up. Right. They increased the injection rate. Right. If you go to your 4D seismic, you don't expect to see much of softening around 1995 to 2001, thereabout. If you see softening, it should be very minimal or none, right? If you see intense softening around 1995 to 2001, something is wrong because that 4D is not obeying production data. So if you come to this, you can see GOR is kept flat, right, up until 2001. It was until 2001 that it started to climb up, channeled, and remained channeling up until 2010. Right. Our oil rate too typically was high, plateaued a bit for 4 or 5 years, then started to drop around 2001, typically because our GOR climbed up. Okay? Right. If we look at the water injection rate too, up until around 2005, we had very low or minimal water cut. It was flat. But around 2005, it started to spike up. So if you go to the 4D and you are seeing intense softening around 1995, sorry, intense hardening around 1995 to 2005-ish, it tells you that something is not right about that 4D. So 4D must obey production data, right? And if we look at the production profile, not until around 2005 did our water cut start to rise, right? So as a geoscientist or even a reservoir engineer looking at 4D seismic, you must be able to make sense of production data. That's the essence of this exercise. You must be able to make sense of production data. So in a nutshell, we've looked at what the production data looks like, and we've seen how it may honor what is it called? The 4D. We'll be making references to this production as we move on in the task. Right. So this next one, is about 4D interpretation. So we are asked to utilize the provided difference map to delineate the spatial extent of areas that have been affected by softening and hardening. This question, Munira, should go to Dami Kuye because she raised her hand. Damilola Kuye, please, if she's willing to answer.
Okay.
Right, so who can point
So
out?
Kuya,
Let me see the question again. Estimate the areas characterized by softening. Okay, so anyone wants to go?
Kuya, are you still on the call? Do you want to try?
Okay, so
Or anyone?
so let me just explain, then anybody can try. So these ones highlighted in red are the producer wells, oil producers, YP1, YP2. The ones in blue are the water injectors, YP4, YP3, and YP5 is the gas injector. This is the baseline survey. This is the monitor one. So the baseline to monitor one, which is 1995 to 2001, this is what happened. Do we see any hardening or softening? Hardening is the red. Sorry, hardening is the blue. Softening is the red. We don't see any hardening or softening here, right? That's because if we go back to our production data, we realize that up until 2001-ish, our GOR was kept flat. Our water cut was kept flat, right? So we didn't induce so much injection into the reservoir enough to cause significant change. So things were almost as you were in that period. Production had just even started, right? But can anybody point out to where we have softening or hardening in the reservoir? You know, or just tell us around which well we have softening, which well we have hardening. Anybody? Okay.
So Kenichi is raising up his hand.
Okay. So let's go for the
Go on.
first now.
Go on, Kenichi. Kenichi, can you hear us?
Okay, so can I speak? Or are we waiting for?
Yes, you can. Oh,
Okay,
Kuya.
so
Okay.
where we have, yes, please.
Yeah.
So where we
Okay,
have
so let's use the monitor one and monitor two so that we're not diving deep. Where do we have softening or hardening around monitor one to monitor two?
Okay, so
Dami.
in monitor two, I can see that we have gas softening around. It's not totally encompassing the YP5, but at least it's gradually. We are having gradual softening around YP5. Then we are having gradual softening, hardening rather, around YP1 and YP2. If we are going with monitor two, is coming up, is building up. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Right. So attribute this one to Damilola Kuye, please, Munirat. Thank you. Right. So typically she's correct with the YP5, but this blue here was intentional, right? It's really faint, but it was a bit intentional when I was trying to create this. It was intentional in the sense that you do not expect water to just miraculously appear close to the producer because the injectors are further down deep, right? So when you see something like this, you need to go back to the production information and look at the production information around 2001 to around 2005. Water was still flat. Why am I seeing blue around the well location? The water cuts around that period, 0% water cut, no water. So immediately you see such thing as a geoscientist, you should start thinking outside the box. What is wrong? What's happening? Is it that this extraction is wrong? Are we doing something not right? Is there something wrong with the processing? You need to start thinking what could have happened. Could it be some fluid substitution? Is oil dissolving back in is gas dissolving back in oil? You need to start to brainstorm, right? So typically that's what it's about. But nice try, Damikwe. That was awesome. Right. So the next one asked us to um talk about fluid front mapping, right? So identify and map the advancement of gas front between the baseline and monitor 1 and monitor 1, monitor 2. So fluid front means the extent at which the oil, where the oil has gotten to up deep structure, right? So for instance, now the gas is hovering around here. So this is the gas front, right? This is the gas front as far as this is concerned. The gas front is somewhere here as far as this is concerned, very close to the producer. So can anybody try to tell me where the water front is for monitor 1, monitor 2? I see 2 hands up. Hussein, can't remember. I can't see the full name. But you can go on, Hussein.
Hussein Samuel.
Where the water front is for monitor 2, or does it even have a water front?
Hussein, can you hear us? Sunny, can you hear us?
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Go on.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So for monitor 1 and monitor 2, the waterfront is very insignificant compared to monitor 2 and 3. That is very clear and well delineated.
Yeah.
Then monitor 1, it's totally blur because no effect, no significant change is showing there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Please, Munirat, attribute the third question to him, please. Thank you. So typically, he is spot on. He got it right. The gas front is showing, meaning there has been some change. Gas has clouded where oil was initially because you're having active gas injection, but water injection has not started to spike up, not until when we got to the monitor 3, when we started to see the water sweeping seriously, right? Because you've injected a whole lot of water around 2006 to 2010, right? So moving on quickly, the next question, which is the last question, I'm not going to enter this. I'm not going to involve myself in this question. I just want somebody to give it a nice try. Propose an optimal location for an infill well following the M2, M3 time interval to maximize sweep efficiency and drainage of remaining bypassed oil. So M2 to M3. So who can propose where to fix a well in this part for optimal drainage? M2, M3. This is this one. This is just another extracted one showing it better. Anybody? Where we'll put a well.
I can try.
Okay. No. Somebody else, please. I think you spoke.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Please, so that we can let it go around. Right.
So we
Anybody?
have Ashegun here.
Okay. So please, where do you think just so sorry, no, not arrow, I forgot, but you could just tell me west, east, north, south. Where do you think you put a well around or center?
Ashegun, you can speak. Ashegun. Owale, please. You can have the floor. Yes, you can hear you.
Okay, so for me, I think we are using monitor 2 and monitor 4, yeah? The
Monitor
last
2,
two
monitor
diagrams.
3. Yes, monitor 2, monitor 3.
Okay. Okay, so I think for me, it would be, if we are going to be targeting a well, I think we should use it at the center, at the crest there. That's what I think. So if we are going to be, that should be somewhere around, somewhere close to, YP1, YP2, somewhere close to there, or somewhere close to around the YP5. Thank you.
Okay. That is the initial response you give is fair enough, and I'll tell you why. So depending on the volumes you'll be able to get from that area you've said, which I believe is this area, you have to test, can that volume actually support a new drill? Remember, we said this is a deep water field, and it costs hundreds of millions of dollars to drill one deep water well. So you must be able to prove that the volumes that you will recoup from that particular area that you are saying there is bypassed oil can support the economics of a new drill. But your answer is correct. I'm just adding additional context to it that you need to actually prove that the volumes there is enough. But that's a fair place, saying, okay, the water is close, the gas is close, but it's not totally there yet. But the second part you gave, saying they should put a well close to YP5, I bet you from day one, that well will be a high GOR well. In fact, it will be a gas well, because the gas has already clouded that particular area, right? Typically, this is what I have for you guys today. Please attribute this question to him, Munirat. Yeah. So typically, this is what I have today. I really do hope that I've been able to share a bit of what I know. I'm reachable on LinkedIn. I'm just a normal guy, nothing really serious like that. I'm reachable on LinkedIn. Um, you can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm reachable. If you see me, you could engage me. I really do thank you for this opportunity to be able to impact you, and I hope I've been able to share a bit of knowledge. Thank you all for listening so much.
Thank you, sir.
Please, let's
Thank you.
celebrate Mr. Ibrahim by
Thank you so
giving
much for
him
this.
a virtual clap, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. So, thank you, everyone. So it's time for Q&A. Does anybody have any question
Yes,
regarding
I
the
have.
session, please?
Yes, I have.
Okay, please go on.
Okay, and thank you so much for the great presentation and for the knowledge imparted. I really benefited so much. So for time's sake, I would like to shoot my question. Okay, I'll be referring to the last slide that showed the gas and water patches on the map.
Yeah.
And the question that was put forward like a quiz, that's where do we drill favorably? So I wanted to just ask, if we consider the red patch, which has to be the area that is occupied by our gas that we've injected, would it be wise to first ask a cross question like, how many wells do we plan to drill as infill wells, as reference to the Y5, that's the one sitting on the crest? So I was thinking, do we need to penetrate many wells within this red patch, like taking the cardinal points, like the northern part of that red patch, the southern part of that red patch, and the western part of that red patch, ensuring that you don't fall off within the red patch, so to say. Yeah. So I'm just asking, do we need to ask them a number of questions, or do we need to penetrate so many wells for us to recover the entire gas? Because from your map, it looks very great. So I was thinking that we need to sweep a lot by penetrating many wells. So do we have to ask them the number of wells we need to drill. I don't know if you got my question.
Okay, so typically, initially at this point, this is OOWC, meaning original oil water contact, meaning all of this place was saturated with oil. But this red you are seeing, you are the one inducing gas into the reservoir to support production. So if you look at the question, they said the 3 additional wells were drilled in March 1995. That's just 2 months after the producers were drilled to actually support the reservoir production, right? Because it had a weak drive. So what we are trying to say is that at this time, these gas are so expanded because you've injected a whole lot of gas into this reserve. It has so expanded such that it's leaving you with a tiny oil rim in this point. So what is left for you to drain is just this tiny oil rim, right? And that's why I said before you can even propose an infill well in this, you have to justify the volumes that this tiny oil rim can give you will support a new drill. Will you be able to drill that well and still make profit from it? Using the scale of this map, the answer will be no. I don't know if that answers your question, sir.
Oh yes, yes. Thank you so much. It does. Although I didn't see if there was a special legend for the oil, so I was kind of sorry.
Sorry about that. I was sorry about that. I'll do better next time.
I was thinking it was a gas field. Sorry to say.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, thank you. Albert.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Because of time, we might not be able to take more questions. Oh, Mr. Ibrahim, do you still want to take one more? Because we
It's
have
fine. I
okay.
can take the question as long as we're not over time. It's fine.
Can I go ahead?
Let's just do, yeah. Let's just take one more. Okay, Ohio, you can go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Ibrahim, for the presentation. This is my first time coming across a 4D seismic, so it was actually eye-opening and enlightening. So I just have one question because throughout the course of your presentation, you've been talking about it's for deep water. 4D seismic is for deep water. I'm also asking, can you do that for? Must it always be for deep water, like 4D seismics?
Typically, because of the cost, right? Deep water across the globe are known to have giant accumulations, and that's probably where you can have that amount of recovery enough to finance. I don't know if there's another answer, but this is mine, to finance that kind of project because it is a very, very, very capital intensive project to venture into, right? So you need to weigh your options clearly. You cannot have cumulative production of a little amount of barrels, then you say you want to integrate 4D seismic into the developmental plan. Nobody goes, forget that we are scientists and we enjoy the technology and the science and all of that. It's business, right? And the people who own these companies and these ventures are very business oriented, right? What is the ROI on this investment? What is the ROI before they venture into it? But proving over time, deep water volumes, recoveries assist. It assists a lot and the economies can support it, right? So it's usually used more in deep water space. All my time working onshore, I don't think I've seen it before, really, typically.
All right, thank you. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I would like to say thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, once again, on behalf of NAPE and everyone that is on this call today. I would like to say a big thank you to you Thank you for demystifying the concept of 4D seismic. I'm sure that every one of us cannot forget the concept of softening and hardening, at least. So thank you so much. I would really like to call on the technical lead, Dumome, to please give the vote of thanks. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Munirat. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I saw the. Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Fatumbi, Sheun, and everyone on the call. My apologies. I joined towards the end of the presentation because I had a very critical exam to write. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so much to Ibrahim Abdulsalam. For the short time that I joined the meeting, I would say it was very insightful, and all the questions that were asked, they are really on point, and it shows that all the participants really gained a lot. And like he said, you can actually connect with him on LinkedIn because it seems like a lot of us are very interested in this topic. So thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. We hope to see you some other time. Right. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for participating. So you can do yourself well by going back to read more about the topic and do some more research because it's very, very interesting. Yeah, so thank you very much. That will be all from me, Munirat.
Okay,
And also
thank you
my
so much,
appreciation
sir.
to Munirat too for moderating the meeting. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I would like to call on Mr. Ajiboye to please give us the announcement.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you so much. That was excellent. Right. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate this. You know, you blessed us so much in life. So quickly, I want to share my screen so we can have an announcement. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So for our last question.
Okay. Please confirm you can see my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen. Hello? Oh, okay.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. So once again, I appreciate everyone. Thank you, Mr. Dumumi, for putting this together. That's our, chief technical lead, chief technical head. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. So you have your ESCO. You've probably heard Mr. Sheo's voice, and this is me, Abioye, and Miss Betel, Olaito, Abel, this is General Secretary, and Daniel, Financial Secretary. So why we do all this time? So you can know your ESCO, and you can always approach them, maybe during technical meeting or at different events, or even online, you can chat them up and ask questions. So the community does not end here in this meeting. It goes beyond these meetings. So then the last meeting we had was a health series for thriving beyond stress, practical strategy for mental wellness. If we're on that call, you can see the practical session we took, breathing in, breathing out, all those things and all that, so awesome, right? So thank you for joining that day. And here we have the recording already. Every Monday, maybe like tomorrow, next tomorrow now, we'll be having a recording already on YouTube. So please, you can always go there to watch or rewatch this meeting. So I also wanted to look ahead. Another look ahead is our technical meeting for June. So please, kindly prepare and be expectant for this. So this is our event we had last. The last event we had was World Geology Day. So I'll be moving quickly because of time. So for those who attended, you must be seeing yourself now on the screen. Here, here we have our president, Mrs. Olajumoke Ajayi. So you can see her here. One thing we love about our leaders, even national level, is like they participate in things we do, even as young professionals, right? So here again, you can see yourself if you are this, if you attended, we went to Lumo, such a beautiful moment we had, having fun and also learning alongside. So it was very, very beautiful, right? Yeah. So that's being said. So we have a very short, interview of our. Yeah. I'll just skip through it quickly. Just you can hear the sound, please. Just to confirm, a thumbs up will be good. You can hear the sound from the video. Can you hear the sound from the video?
No, we can't.
You can't.
No, we can't.
Can you hear the sound now?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's all good then. All right. So just okay, let me play this just to show us everything that's that happened. All right. Thank you very much. So yeah, so let's go. Yeah, so it's not a news again. The conference is here, the NAPE Annual International Conference, 8 to 12 of November this year. So if you have not registered, now is the best time to register early bird registration and start preparing yourself for this. Topic like this, unlocking more barrels. That's what we are here to do, to unlock more barrels, right? Driving reserve growth, through exploration, local capabilities, and adaptive technology. So I want us to prepare for this, plan for this, so that we'll be well prepared for this year conference. Then last technical meeting, we had our app launch. This conference gets better. Right now, you can access everything about the conference from different events, workshops, you can access everything on the app. All you have to do is to download the app with this, whether by scanning this scan code or using this link. For now, we are by September, October, we'll have the app on App Store and Google Store. So, but for now, you can use this link to download the app. So if you have not downloaded the app, now is the right time to download the app. So then also, you can also register online, register for the conference online. So just go to nape.org.ng/conference. So just go there, register for the conference, make your payments, easy freezy. All right. Yes. So then, you must have been, if you are following us, must have been seeing a new post, around energy pause, NAPE YP energy pause, NAPE YP energy pause. What is it all about? So NAPE YP energy pause is just, an extension, of the technical meeting, focused on the young professional, majorly just to have a section with our speakers, our panel, to ask them basic questions that we might not be able to ask them while they are making their technical presentations, right? Personal questions, questions that can answer a lot of questions that the young professionals have in their mind. So I want you to stay tuned for this because we are launching our first interview video today, this evening. So if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you should do that right now. All right. So quickly, I'll be calling on Daniel, our financial secretary, to quickly speak to our due payments and all that. Daniel, if you are on call, please go ahead. can go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, thank you very much. I was trying to call your attention to unmute me. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim, for that wonderful session. And thank you, my PS. And also thank you, Munirat. Thank you for moderating. This is just to remind us of our dues. I'm sure you all know by now that this is an association, and the association is moving by your support, by your dues and all. The conferences you attend, the technical meeting you also attend, most of what we do. In fact, some of the meetings we do, some of what we do has been supported by NAPE, and those funds come from your dues. And so this is just like a drive and awareness that we all pay our dues. So there's been a trend that most young professionals, most active members don't pay their dues, and your dues is just 12,000 naira. In fact, there are a lot of benefits that when we get those benefits, it's always stated that it's only for people that pay their dues. And you see a lot of people that really want to experience that benefit, but just because you have not been paying your dues, you won't get it. So this was an urge. We're already in, I think we are in salary week. So guys, we just take out 12,000 naira and pay your dues, and next time you are going to be paying it is going to be next year, 2027. So this is just an urge for you to pay your dues. And if you are a student or you just finish your NYSC and you're willing to transition to become an active member, the contact is on the slide. You could reach out to Mr. Mayowa Daniel. His contact is on the slide. Reach out to him, letting him know that you want to convert, you want to transition. So far you've finished your service, you can transition to be an active member. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you, PS.
Yes. Thank you very much, Daniel Abbey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we've heard. So please let us participate. The proper way to first participate is to pay up your due. You understand? That's the proper way to participate. To say, oh, I'm part of this association. Is that you are updated. You know, you have updated your payments
Okay,
and all
thank
that.
you, Daniel.
Yeah. So can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Hello.
can. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So yeah, so and also please, like I said, if you're not following us on our social media, please do
Yes, we
well
can
to
hear
follow
you.
us on our social handles. Please follow us.
Yes,
We
we
have
can hear you.
YouTube, we have Facebook, we are on Twitter, which is X, we are on Instagram, we are on LinkedIn as a
We can hear
community
you.
and as a page. So please follow us. Please follow
We
us.
can hear you.
Yeah, so that will be it for today. That will be it for today. Thank you. Munirat, over to you. Oh, is it my network or our
Can you guys
network?
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I will thank you, Mr. Ajiboye. I would like to call Mr. Dumome again to please give us a closing remark. Mr. Dumome, are you on the call?
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, so I don't think Mr. Dumome is here. But I'll call on Mr. Sheung. But before Mr. Sheung come up. So please, for winners, right? You reach out to me. So look out for a flyer. The flyer will be out, that will have the details. But I'll also put my number in the chat box right now. So you can chat me on WhatsApp and tell me your name, and you give me an identification because I will ask. So then we'll send your price to you. So it was agreed, thanks to our speaker today, he sponsored the quiz today, and we have winners for this. So we'll be having a cash prize of 3,000 naira each. to our winners. So please, I will drop my number now on this chat box. So please chat me on WhatsApp. Just WhatsApp is fine. So thank you very much. Mr. Sheung, you can come up please for the closing remark. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you so much. If this is your first time, we say you're welcome. If this is your second time, we say thank you for joining again. And if you have been joining, of course, you must have seen that every time you come here, there are values to be taken away. So please keep coming and do well to also invite your friends. It is not good that you get the knowledge for yourself alone. There are times that you might forget some things, you're working on a project, but your friends too can be of help because they can remember things that you guys learned together. You understand? So also be an institution where people can, be a person that people can always go to you to say, oh, where can I learn this and all that? So you can always refer them and say, oh, there's a technical meeting, technical series that the young professional NAPE, do hold like that every month, once in a month and all that. So please don't keep information to yourself. Don't keep updates to yourself. So let people also join, right? So if you have been inviting people, thank you very much also. You are well appreciated. So thank you guys for joining. And I say, enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Thank you so much. See you in the next technical meeting.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.